are lots of things all around us, exciting things that surround us.
But how does it work?
Do you know?
How is it made?
Do you know? Things that go up, things that go down, things that go pop, things that go round, with special cameras to show you inside. It's going to be a big surprise.
But how does it work?
Do you know?
How is it made?
Do you know? Do you know?
Let's find out!
Hello, I'm Maddie, and today I'm going to the Opticians. Have you ever been to the Opticians? The Opticians is the place we come to have an eye test to make sure that our eyes are healthy and working properly. And lots of people have glasses with lenses to help them see things more clearly. Shall we try some on? To find out if we need to wear glasses, a person called an optometrist uses lots of clever machines to test our eyes. But do you know how an eye test works? Let's find out.
How does it work?
Opticians.
An eye test starts in rooms like these. They're called examination rooms. And having your eyes tested might sound a little bit scary, but if you've had your eyes tested, then you know that it doesn't hurt at all. Oh, look. This is the first machine that's used to test our eyes. It's called an autorefractor, and it works just like peering through a window. Oh, and this is Dan. Dan's the optometrist who's going to test my eyes to show us how an eye test works. Oh, I can see a red hot air balloon at the end of a road, but it's all blurry.
Dan is controlling how the picture looks. Can you hear the whirring sound as he changes it?
And now the balloon has become clear.
The machine shows him my eye really close up.
Oh, well, that was easy. The autorefractor measures how well our eyes focus, and that means how clearly we see something. But to find out how the autorefractor measures this, we need to take a closer look inside the eye.
Our eyes need light for us to see. The autorefractor machine shines light into the front of your eye and measures how far it travels. If the eye is working well, the light will reach the retina at the back of your eye. This allows your eyes to see the balloon nice and clearly. If the eyeball is too long, the light doesn't reach all the way to the back of the eye, which means that when the balloon is far away, it becomes blurry. But when it's close up, it becomes clear. Lots of people's eyes are like this. It's called short-sighted. If the eyeball is too short, the light focuses beyond the back of the eye, so when the balloon is close up, it becomes blurry. But when it's far away, the eyes see it clearly. Lots of people's eyes are like this too. It's called long-sighted. If your eyes are short-sighted or long-sighted, the optometrist puts special lenses in your glasses, which makes the light reach the back of your eye perfectly. So when you wear the right glasses, your eyes can see everything clearly.
How clever is that? Remember, you should never shine lights in your eyes at home. Now, it's my turn to come and sit in this chair. This time, Dan is going to check how well my eyes work when I look at the detail of objects that are far away, and Dan is using this chart with shapes on it.
I'm looking at the shapes through this mirror, which makes them look even further away.
Do you know what the shapes are?
Let's see from the top.
House, bird, clock, car, fish. Bird, clock, house, apple, cup. Can you see what's happening to the shapes?
They're getting smaller and smaller. That's so Dan can tell how much detail my eyes see when things are far away. So finally, the bottom line?
Cup, shoe, apple, car, fish.
Perfect.
Did you see the shapes? Next, Dan's going to test the strength of my eyes using a pair of trial frames. They look like a pair of robot glasses.
Dan is using a special torch called a retinoscope. He puts different lenses in the trial glasses. And the retinoscope helps him see how the light passes through each lens.
Thanks, Maddie. I'm pleased to say your eyes are fine.
So, I don't need glasses, but if you do, this is when your optometrist will tell you the strength of lenses that you need. This last machine is called a retinal camera. It's a very special camera that Dan will use to see right into the back of my eye to check that they're nice and healthy.
And just keep looking straight ahead.
Let's go.
It works like a microscope, which means it can show all the small details.
Ooh. Did you hear that sound? That was the sound of the camera taking a picture. Did you see the bright flash? Makes your eyes a little blurry at first, but they quickly go back to normal. Right, well, that's it. Should we take a look at the picture? Wow, that is what the back of an eye looks like. You can even see the tiny blood vessels. That's so clever. I loved seeing how an eye test works. Did you? What was your favourite bit?
Do you remember what you call the machine that checked how far you can see? It's called an autorefractor. Did you hear the sound the retinal camera made when it took a picture of my eye?
Oh!
And did you see the blood vessels in the photograph of the back of the eye?
Well, my eyes have been given the all clear, but if you do need to wear glasses, there are lots of different shapes and colours to choose from. Do you know what the part that holds the lenses in place is called? Just like a window in a house. That's right, it's the frame. But do you know how frames are made? Let's find out.
How is it made?
Glasses.
This is where frames are made, in a glasses frame factory.
There are hundreds of glasses frames being made here. Some are made by hand and some are made by machines.
The frames start out as a wire called coil, and in this factory they use a type of metal called gold. But how does this turn into these? There are three main parts needed to make the frames. These round parts here are called the rim, and they hold the glass lens in place. And then these long sticks are called the temple because they run along the temple on your head. And then this middle bit is called the bridge because it sits a little bit like a bridge on your nose, and that holds the two rims together.
It's Chandrika's job to put the temples together.
First, the gold coil is cut to the right lengths to make all of our pieces, and she does that using a cutting machine.
The pieces are then put into a machine called a knuckle stamper.
It pushes down and to the side at the end of that piece of metal at the same time to create a little bump like this. Next, it's put inside this machine called a shin press, which squashes that knuckle so that it's smooth and flat. What do you think it sounds like? I think it sounds a bit like a train. Now it's time to make the part that goes over your nose, the bridge. They start out like this, as a straight piece of wire, and goes into this machine for the first bending. Here you go.
In all, it takes 14 machines to bend the coil into exactly the right bridge shape. That's a lot of bending.
And there you have it, a finished bridge. To make the rims, Ray feeds some more gold coil into this machine. It's called a rim winder.
The gold coil is held in place in the machine, ready to be shaped.
What shape do you think the rims are going to be? That's right, it's a circle.
Now we've got all the parts we need to make our frames, but we need to put them all together.
And for that we need something called a hinge.
A hinge is a small joining part, and it's made by cutting the gold coil and putting tiny holes in it. The hinges are attached to the rims using something called soldering. This is where two pieces of metal are stuck together by melting another tiny piece of metal in between, just like glue. The hinged rims are then attached to the bridge, this time by making both pieces of metal really hot, so they melt and join together. This is called welding.
For the first time, they're starting to look like frames, aren't they? But these aren't going to stay on very well. That's because they need the temples.
The temples will be attached with screws, very tiny ones.
These ones are smaller than an ant. So I've got my special camera with me. This is a microscope and it helps us to see very small things much bigger. Let's take a look. Wow, look at that. It is absolutely tiny. But now we can see all of the little grooves, and those are the bits that will screw into the parts so they stay together.
After they've been screwed into place, look on my special camera. Can you see the screw on the frame?
And look, that's the screw that's holding all the parts together. Oh, these look bright and shiny, don't they? But they do need some finishing touches.
For the last stage, Chandrika puts on some plastic tips which are bent so they can hook around your ears, and some plastic pads for your nose.
And ta-da! The frames are ready. But these ones are empty. That's because they need to get sent to the opticians, who will fit the special lenses that will help your eyes so you can see things more clearly. These are really comfortable and I think they look pretty good too. What was your favourite bit about seeing how frames are made?
Do you remember the name of the part of the frame that sits over your nose? That's right, it's the bridge. Did you hear the sound the shin press made? A bit like a train. And did you see how quickly the metal coil was bent to make the rims?
So the next time you see someone wearing glasses, or you wear glasses yourself, you'll know how they're made. And if you visit the opticians to have your eyes tested, you'll know how it works and that it doesn't hurt a bit. See you next time. Bye.